This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review a 90s action cult classic. It's Dolph Lundren. It's Brandon Lee in Showdown in Little Tokyo. Plus, could Spielberg be up for directing a Superman movie? Avatar 2 releases a new trailer. Bollywood creates a shared universe. Godzilla takes on Gigan in a new CG short and more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, November 7th, 2022.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom. The Jock and Nerd podcast. Play it.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, what's up? Hello, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us, a guy stomping all over Tokyo, it's Rugzilla. What's up, Rugs?
It's my fire breath is not atomic.
It's just foul.
It's just booze fumes. It's just booze fumes.
Yeah, I don't know who has worse fire breath, Godzilla or Rugs.
It's like bourbon, 2 parts bourbon and hot sauce. I think.
Don't put a match to that when you burp. You can burn everything down.
I think I could actually get more like fuel from my farts than my burps. Can you light your burps on fire? Has that ever happened?
It's an alternative energy source. We go from solar to Rug Boys burps. You guys, I got to mention, I added a new sound clip to our soundboard after last week's really fun episode.
Which episode was that?
Reviewing Blade. Remember? You were there. We were all there.
Yeah, okay.
I had to add this.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Only the best line in the whole goddamn movie.
Well, this one's got a couple that can fucking...
This one
review.
has one that I don't know I can put on the soundboard when we get to this week's movie. Just wait. But before we do that, we got some trailers. We got some news. Let's dive in.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Let's start with this interesting rumor, something reported in the Hollywood Reporter's newsletter. Apparently, Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav was seen having lunch at the Warner Brothers commissary with one Steven Spielberg. Oh, not only that, they were having lunch, and then Chris Nolan walks over and sits down. And then the new co-head of DC Studios, Peter Safran, walks in and he sits down, and they're all discussing something. I wonder what it could be. This could be exciting news.
Your teeth.
Well, who's what's that? What's that? I'm sorry, you cut out there a little bit.
I said I can hear the lisp a little bit. Your teeth.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am a lisp denier. I refuse to believe.
Wait, what did he say? What did he say that you noticed?
No, I don't know. I just thought I just heard something. I just heard that, and I was like, "Oh, it's his teeth."
Okay, there might be something there. Maybe I'm having a little bit of a situation, listener. Just so you know, you have to bear with me for a little while, like a month or two.
Imran filed his teeth after you watched Blade. He filed his teeth to be like Blade.
Yes,
and now he's waiting for it to grow back.
Yes, I've installed vampire implants. Let's just say, you know how a building is under construction for a while and it looks weird? That's happening in my mouth. So my mouth currently, possibly under construction, there's caution tape. Just try to avoid it. And if you got to go in, wear a hard hat. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. What were you saying about Steven Spielberg?
Ruggs, you're the one who sent me this story. Spielberg meeting with Zaslav and Safran.
Okay, so Spielberg is working on some other project for them. But... So him talking to Zaslav, that seems like, okay, he's working on his project. But when Nolan and then the new guy that was hired with James Gunn, what's his name?
Peter Safran.
Safran?
Yeah.
He sits down. Then all of a sudden you're like, this is a little bit too convenient.
What is going on here? So you're right about the project. We believe we talked about this way back in like 2018. Spielberg was in development on something called Black Hawks. You have to say that very carefully and enunciate.
Black Hawks. Yeah, Black Hawks.
DC, it's a DC property about World War II something. Not in canon. It's kind of outside the DC universe, but it's DC characters. Apparently, he might have been still working on this and talking about the Black Hawk film, but one can speculate and imagine. And can you imagine?
Well, because you got Nolan, who produced Man of Steel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So he's like a first-hand dude in that project.
We got Henry Cavill back as Superman.
Right. We just heard that, and they're trying to fast-track that movie. So
I'm wondering how quickly a Superman movie is going to come out. But, Anthony, would you want to see a Superman movie starring Henry Cavill directed by Steven motherfucking Spielberg?
Of course.
That would be crazy.
That'd be awesome. Steven Spielberg's an amazing director, and if that's the move that Safran and Gunn can pull off, that'll be a thing that gets people talking again about DC, because although some people seem to be talking about Black Adam, we're not anymore. We would definitely be talking about a Superman movie with Henry Cavill back and Steven Spielberg. So I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if even Steven Spielberg wants to do something like that, but they should throw all the money at him if he has any inkling.
My opinion is that this is not going to happen. I don't think Spielberg's going to do Superman. I mean, I don't think that he wouldn't, but I just don't think that they're giving it to him. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't have, that's what I feel. I don't feel like Spielberg's going to direct a Superman movie. I just don't. But there is a lot of fucking... It's great to see Nolan back in the game. That's the biggest thing that I picked up.
Yeah, what is he doing there? What's
like Nolan's sitting down with Zaslav. That we could get Nolan back, maybe.
In some kind of producer role.
What if Nolan was the one to do Super? Because people are talking about Spielberg, but Spielberg's working on Black Hawks. Are they gonna? If he's working on Superman, they're gonna push that back, and he's gonna. Or how's that gonna work out? They want to get the Superman out ASAP. So what if they just? What if they pull Nolan in? I mean, that's a great idea.
A Christopher Nolan Superman movie would feature some kind of incomprehensible time travel, probably.
Yeah, I like Nolan a lot, but that last movie really left a bad taste in my mouth about Nolan Unhinged.
Yeah,
what movie was that again?
Tenet.
Oh my God.
Which if you watch it again is a fucking mind fuck of a movie, but it makes your head hurt, and I don't know if any of it makes sense, and it's just hard to even think about. But I mean, he did Batman.
Still a great director.
He's a great director. We don't want a dark and moody Superman. I don't know. And Spielberg, I guess you could do a Black Hawk film. I don't know what this is. It would give him more leeway to do whatever he wants, because it's
like, does anybody want to see this Black Hawk film? He wants to make it because he likes that time period, right?
Yes,
so
he loves the World War stuff. But one can dream what a Spielberg Superman movie would look like. It would be uplifting. It would be hopeful. It would be colorful. You know, it could almost be like the Christopher Reeves movie. That's what.
What would be the closest Spielberg movie to a Superman movie? What do we got here? Like Hook?
I mean, he had those movies and the wonder of like E.T. and
the adventure of the Indiana Jones.
And those 80s movies, there was a lot of spectacle and wonder, and that's what you want. You want those feelings where you feel you're watching a movie and you feel like a child again, amazed at what you're seeing.
Which is how the original 78 Reeves Superman affected a lot of people. Like, they saw a man fly, like, you know, for the first time, somewhat realistically, and it was just the wonder.
Well, that's why I brought up Hook, because Peter
Hook.
Pan flies. Rufio! Get him back in the game.
Dude, Rufio's the best. Get Rufio. Well. Anyways, on the other side of town, on the other side of the spectrum, we have Quentin Tarantino. Kind of talking about would he ever work for Marvel? And the quick answer is no, he wouldn't. He's got a new book out and he's doing a tour, and he had some comments. He said he calls the MCU directors hired hands, and he said you'd have to be a hired hand to do those things. I'm not a hired hand. I am not looking for a job, even though he wanted to make a Star Trek movie. I don't know if I could see him in a franchise.
Is this even controversial?
No, the thing is, he's not wrong entirely. Like, he's wrong and he's not wrong. Like, they have both, right?
But yeah, he's not wrong. It's just there's two things. He's not wrong. You do have to be hired to play in the Marvel sandbox. You got to do what Marvel wants you to do, and some guys can play better than others, and some guys can navigate that better than others. It's its own little thing. Quentin Tarantino's not wrong, but it's also like, come on, this is old hat. Every old director is doing the whole Marvel bashing thing. So at this point, it's just like, all right, whatever. There's another director great director that doesn't like Marvel.
I love Tarantino, and he's,
Well, wait. Let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to add the caveat. These are all directors that pretty much can do whatever the fuck they want.
Exactly.
So why would they want the confines of working for Marvel?
Right.
The only time that you really need to work for Marvel is when you're like Sam Raimi, when you can't get shit off the ground anymore, and now you need Marvel again.
Or you're like an up and coming director, and you wanna make a name for yourself. Yeah, I don't know who's even why they even are asking that question. They know what they're gonna get.
Right. And Tarantino, clearly a guy who will write and make his own movie the way he wants to make it. No one can tell him otherwise.
As John Campia said on this topic, Tarantino is his own universe.
Yeah,
so
he kind of is.
Why would he need to do this?
He has built a Tarantino universe amongst his movies. But look, you have hired hands, but then would you consider like a Ryan Coogler or a James Gunn? They're kind of auteur directors.
Those are the guys I'm referencing that can play better in the sandbox.
I see.
And they can get in Feige's ear and make. I think you have to be to get in as a director. I think you have to be able to sell yourself a little bit more to Feige and get him to the point where he's letting you play a little bit within the lines.
Well, I'll tell you. Let's break down Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Black Panther needs to be directed by and worked on by black people.
Right.
Feige can't say shit when that happens. So he's got to hand over the reins there because it's not his place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy, no one gave a fuck about. So he was just like, all right, do whatever the fuck you want. So those are two situations that worked out very well for the directors. You're basically in the catbird seat right there. You're like, you have it all.
You got the leverage.
You got all the advantage.
You got the power. Yeah.
Well,
So
there's one option. There is one. Sorry, there is one example recently where I think a lot of people would say one director got too much, and the movie was worse off for it. And I'd say that's Taika Waititi.
Oh,
that's right.
He made a Taika movie in Love and Thunder, and a lot of people were like, "You just shit all over everything." That entire movie.
Maybe too much freedom.
But I would also argue that Taika became the blueprint for Marvel movies after Ragnarok. Everything was jokey. And
so that's good. That's not great either.
Yeah, but they were just following the protocol. That's why he got so much leeway at that point.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Marvel's a weird thing. As I said, if I was Tarantino and I make my own rules and set my own shit up and I don't like listening to other people like telling me how to make my movies, I'm not going to work for Marvel. Unless Marvel does one of those things where like, you just do whatever you want. But I can't even see Tarantino doing a movie.
He wanted to do Luke Cage for a while. I'd give him money and just make whatever Luke Cage movie you want. If I was Marvel, it's probably not going to be a good idea, but it would be interesting to see.
It'd be interesting. It wouldn't play with anything.
Oh,
though.
no, it'd be the most militant-ass movie. It would be
and
amazing.
I guarantee you there would be a lot of takes of why is he doing that character and this and that. So
plus, this is a guy who likes to rewrite history, and he'll just kill Hitler because he wants to, and he can. So he's not following
Hitler or stop Roman Polanski's wife from getting married.
Oh yeah, from getting raped and murdered.
Crew.
Yeah, the pregnant wife. Yeah, that never happened either. Brad Pitt and Leo stopped it.
Yeah, with flamethrowers.
What other thing could Quentin Tarantino can he make Trump not get elected?
Oh my God, he should do that one where Trump loses. I don't know. I think he's got one more movie in him. He's writing books now, and I don't know.
What was his last movie?
It was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That was a good movie.
Dude,
in retrospect, I didn't like it as much when I first saw it, but in retrospect, that was a pretty fun movie.
It is a slow hangout movie, but then the payoff at the end is fucking 100% worth it, right?
It's almost just a comedy, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. It's just, well, the end of that movie is fucking bananas. I loved it. It's fucking howling out loud.
I gotta watch it again. I feel like it deserves another watch.
Absolutely.
It is a very satisfying ending.
Yes. And you don't expect it, even though you should.
Just Brad Pitt beating up women. It's just
Oh my God, flamethrowers
so
and
funny.
violence out of nowhere. Anyways, listener, let us know if you want to see Steven Spielberg direct a Superman movie. Join the conversation.
Is that going to help? If enough people join our conversation, you think Steven Spielberg is going to?
It might.
Okay.
He might listen. Join the Facebook group. It's
Oh
called
yeah, he does. Yeah, he absolutely.
Jock and
listens.
Nerd Nation. He absolutely, Spielberg listens to this podcast. I've been told it's confirmed. Jock and Nerd Nation on Facebook. We're all there hanging out, posting geek things, spoiler threads. It's lots of fun. Okay, let's get into a couple of trailers from all over the place. I want to start with the brand new Avatar Way of the Water trailer, the second trailer for this movie, really showing you a lush underwater landscape and the difference between Na'vi characters. And I don't know about you guys, but now, like, this trailer made me super geek boner.
Geek boner.
I think it looks fucking amazing. The fact that all of this is fake. These, like, the trees, the leaves, these physical locations they're showing you, none of that shit is real. The textures on the skin seem improved. The eye rendering, the underwater mocap. I'm really excited to see this in 3D. Anthony, what do you think of the second trailer?
Is it coming out in 3D?
I think it has to.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's
I
definitely
didn't know that
coming
it was
out
going to
3D.
do that. I know the first one, it was a big deal. It came out in 3D, and it sparked another 3D wave that
Which is
petered
dead
out.
now, right? Which is
Dead,
weird. Like, but if there's one 3D movie you're gonna go see, it's gonna be Cameron's 3D movie.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the trailer's very well cut. It's weird that we're getting a sequel to this movie that came out 12 years ago. It's just weird because you don't see that in modern movies. You always get to every 2 to 3 years you get a sequel. So for this to be 12 years, weird, but well cut trailer, sufficiently epic. Definitely looks really nice. I think you're going to get some characters that we liked in the first movie dying. It looks like Sigourney Weaver his character's playing a child now, which is kind of strange.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that. I don't really still know what it's about other than just the war, but
Yeah.
he's really banking on the fact that, hey, Avatar's back. Remember how awesome that was. Remember how immersive that was. Now we're doing the water. We're going to catch up with this family that you might have fell in love with. So, yeah, I mean, I'll be there. I think it's going to do really well in the theaters. I think it's actually probably going to make a shit ton of money, and I don't know if it'll break records, but it's going to do really well.
Ruggs, what do you think of the CGI in this? Like, this one, it really impressed me. Like, it's mesmerizing. It looks unbelievable. The water effects, everything.
I watched a couple of scenes of old Avatar.
Yeah, it looks better.
It's still impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that this trailer looks great. I think Natiri's got to be dead.
I think she's going to die, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely dead because she's like only in like 2 seconds of the trailer. And so I picked up. I'm like, oh, now I know that she's dead. That's going to be weird. I might be wrong, but I usually know.
I'm with you on that. I think that's going to happen as well.
So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. I don't know. I think they're going to be focusing on the children a little bit more.
Mhm.
That's what it looks like. The story's about their kids. And I don't know. I mean, I have full faith in James Cameron that I'm going to be entertained. I might not think it's the most original thing.
Well, that's the thing. I hope the story is good after showing us all this.
I will be entertained for the time that I'm there, and I know it'll be eye candy. So, yeah, I'm not expecting it to be like the greatest story ever told. I'm just expecting it to be a spectacle and a continuation of the story.
I want to be immersed in this world, right? I want it to be visually immersed, but the story being immersive would also help. I do like how you can kind of tell the two different kinds of Na'vi, like they're different shades of blue. It's a little more obvious in this one. And these fucking flying water creatures that also swim, like it looks fucking dope.
The giant whale,
The whale
that they're
thing
controlling.
looks crazy, yeah. And the action should be good. So
the premise, real quick, set more than a decade after the events of the first film, Avatar: Way of the Water begins to tell the story of the Sully family, the trouble that follows them, the lengths they go to keep each other safe, the battles they fight to stay alive, and the tragedies they endure. That last part, I would emphasize as
that's a hint.
definitely someone's going to die that we liked.
Oh, shit.
It looks like Stephen Lang, that character, is coming back as in this movie, but he's in another body.
Oh, he avatared
He's in
into
a
another.
Navi avatar body, yeah. But he has the memories of that character.
This is going to be there's going to be a lot of Avatar when this comes out. The runtime has been revealed, and after 13 years, he is giving us a movie that's over 3 hours long.
Oh, shit.
Geez.
It's going to be,
3:10.
I think, 3 hours and 10 minutes. Why have movies gotten so long? It's kind of annoying. That's long.
I like long movies.
Yeah, but this better, the story.
I like long movies that are epic.
that
like
are
this.
good, yes. Epic runtime, better give me an epic story and an epic journey. Ruggs, what do you think about that runtime? Should it have an intermission? Should we bring a
I don't
bottle
know. I
to
need
pee
to.
in?
I need to bring.
Yeah, you
do a
guys,
rail of Coke like at midpoint.
I'm gonna have to get a catheter.
There's
up
no
my-
way.
Yeah.
There's no way that I'm staying awake like through this whole thing.
you two both, you got to worry about, one, pissing yourself. You're at that age where you don't, I don't know if you can control your bladder. Secondly, yeah, you guys both probably just fall asleep in bad places at all, like any point.
I'm gonna need a lot of
I'd be
coffee.
concerned about both of you.
I know.
When I went to see Black Adam, like I was like struggling.
Well, that was the movie's fault, though. I was too. I blame the movie. If this
No.
movie makes me doze off, I blame the movie. But fuck, 3 hours, James Cameron? Okay.
I just got to see a matinee. That's the only thing I can do.
And I also like that Cameron is realistic. Another report came out where Cameron has said if Way of the Water bombs, he's going to end it with Avatar 3 and not do 4 and 5. So the guy's got contingency plans. He's trying to be a little realistic. He's not going to force this if Avatar is not a thing again like he wants. But the movie makes $1 billion, which it could. I think Black Panther could make $1 billion. We get 2 movies with underwater things coming out very close to each other. It's going to be interesting, but at least he's realistic about it. He's like, look, if it's shit, I'm just going to end it with the 3rd one. It's no problem.
Well, that's good.
He's not that crazy, but he is.
He's showing some kind of signs of humbleness. Yeah.
All right, let's move on over to India, guys.
Oh, no.
Bollywood. Got to represent my people. I'm not from India, but that general area. Pakistan.
I'm going to preface by
Next
saying
door.
I really don't understand why we're talking about these 2 trailers.
Well, a couple of reasons. Because I watched RRR on Netflix, a 3-hour epic Indian action movie. And, you know, I've talked about for a long time, watching these Indian movies as a kid, they make the same movie over and over again. There's always a leading man. There's a romantic interest. There's fight scenes. There's a dance scenes. There's a romance. They only kiss, nothing more. Bad guy loses, good guy wins. And I've often wondered, why don't they make other genre movies? Why don't they branch out? And I feel like Bollywood industry has been always a little behind Western trends. In the 60s, they made surf movies when surf movies were big here, and they did surf music. Now, I feel like shared universes, the fantasy superhero genre, and the action movie aesthetic from the 90s that we love talking about is now just making it over there, and we're getting some spectacular things. The first trailer is for a movie called BRAHMASTRA. It's a fantasy action adventure. All of these links I'll put in our show notes. You can watch and play along. This one, though, for the first time in a Bollywood movie, there's like mystical powers. There's superhero type shit. It is the first part of a trilogy that they're going to spin off into a cinematic universe titled the Astroverse. The story kind of uses Hindu mythology and turns it into like a fantastical beings and myth and power inspired by Hindu mythology. I love that. I think that's a great idea.
Right. This is like the time where we were going to watch the Russian Avengers movie.
The
Remember
Guardians.
that?
Yes, the Guardians. Right. It's very similar to what's going on here. Yes.
Yeah. The cool thing about the Guardians movie was it was filmed in Russia, and like literally they don't put any ugly people in the movie like that are female. Like, so there's like every female character
it's
was
just
like a
hot Russian
supermodel.
broads. Okay.
Yeah. Like every doctor was just
I mean,
like,
India does the same thing. They pick lighter skinned Indian women to put in their
Yeah.
movies and men on purpose.
I'm watching
right?
the trailer. I'm like, are these Indian people?
Exactly. Exactly. You could even whitewash within the Indian culture.
I'm like,
What did you guys think of this one, of the trailer? First of all, any reaction?
I'll start.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, in terms of how visually it looks like those Fantastic Beasts movies.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's got kind of that vibe. But I mean, I'm going to be frank. I have absolutely no interest in watching this. I don't know anything about this. I watched the trailer. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if I want to read subtitles for this movie. I mean, it looks like an Indian American movie.
I mean, it's about an orphan with pyrokinetic powers who discovers that he is a weapon of enormous energy. Like, that's a dope premise.
Yeah, my favorite thing about this trailer is that right away you see that this guy's got like fire powers.
Yeah, fire doesn't burn
And
him.
at the very end of the trailer, they reveal that he has fire powers.
Dude, he's
Like,
got these.
the guy tells him, he's like, "You have fire powers," and I'm like, "Isn't that what we've been seeing for the past 2 minutes?" So, yeah, I don't know. Like, that narratively tells me if the trailer is that like hitting me over the head with obvious shit. Like, should I watch this movie? I think I already saw it.
Dude, there's like a dark side looking motherfucker in here holding a pitchfork. Some of the CGI is impressive. Some of it looks like CW.
Some of it looks cool.
Yeah.
And some of it,
Some of it looks a little
great.
TV level. Yeah. But it's very unique for a Bollywood movie to use these special
I'm
effects.
happy that this shit's out there. I feel like it's what is 20th Century Fox involved?
Here's the thing. This is
20th Century
technically
Studios,
it's a Disney movie. It's being released by Star Studios, which is the Indian version of their streaming platform that was run by 20th Century Studios, which is now owned by Disney. Technically a Disney movie. There's a dude in here also, the old guy with white hair and the white goatee. His name is Amitabh Bachchan. Now, when I was a kid, this guy, Amitabh Bachchan, was in every movie. Like back then, an actor would go shoot 6 movies in a day. He would go to 6 different movie sets, shoot 6 movies at a time. This dude was in everything. He was kind of like Harrison Ford of India. He could do everything. He did stunts. He could sing. He would dance. He would do the action scenes. I grew up watching him, so it's kind of cool to see him as an old man. He always reminded me of like an Indian Sylvester Stallone and Harrison Ford, like squished together.
Here's why I'll explain why I'm not impressed at all.
Okay.
Because you're coming at it from the angle that Bollywood doesn't do this type of stuff.
Yeah.
First off, I don't watch Bollywood.
Sure.
Secondly, I live in America where we do this type of stuff all the time. So you're coming at it from the angle of, look at this, Bollywood's doing this. And I'm coming at it from the angle of, I don't watch Bollywood and I'm seeing something that we do all the time here.
I understand. I'm just trying to expand people's cultural horizons. That's all. Just turn people on. Okay. Let's talk about the next trailer. I want to know if this one.
The only thing that could be better than after Anthony explains his opinion is to now let's talk about another one of these movies.
No, this one I want to because this
one's different.
This one is different.
This one's in Bollywood. They don't do this in Bollywood.
I'll tell you what I thought about this trailer. This is Pathaan.
It's pronounced Pathaan.
Pathaan.
Pathaan, which is a group of people, the Pashto. They're kind of tribal people in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pashto-speaking people. They are Pathans. But growing up, the word around like Urdu-speaking Pakistani people, Pathaan, was kind of a derogative, insulty kind of word. Like you were a country folk or you were tribal and you were Pathaan and weren't civilized. That was kind of the reputation.
So is this movie a Pakistani movie or is this a Bollywood movie?
This is a Bollywood movie. But the word the word Pathaan is used everywhere.
So what's this movie about, Imran?
I'm not sure. It looks like it's the 4th installment in some series. It looks like a guy who's some kind of agent, as they think he's dead, but he's come back and he's just kicking all sorts of ass. Shah Rukh Khan.
How did you find
this one? I don't know. Did somebody post it? No, So
this is like a martial arts film, basically.
Yeah, look at the action, dude. You know, we were talking about John Woo. We're talking about these 90s action movies. It's got contrived action. Like all the movies, it reminds me a little bit of Fast and the Furious meets like a Mission Impossible. There's rocket launchers. There's snow cap scenes. There's like a dude that looks like an Indian Frank Grillo in here real quick.
There is, yeah.
And they're fighting.
Is he the lead?
I don't know.
I like
he looks
Indian
like
Frank
the bad
Grillo.
guy. They're fighting on top of trains, on motorcycles, driving on ice. There's a hot girl that's also kicking ass. There's explosions. I mean, it has the makings of everything we love in action movies right here in this trailer.
I'm gonna wait and see like what the reviews are on it, and then maybe I'll check it out. I'll watch an action
did this
sequence.
one get you at all, Anthony? Just the action
This
bona
one,
fides.
I will say this one was a better trailer for me because it had the action. There is some weird CGI, but this is another trailer where I'm like, oh, this is kind of doesn't. If you put this next to an American movie, it doesn't look completely out of place.
Yeah.
So there's that going for it. I thought the trailer was better than the other one just because this one's shorter, so I didn't have to sit through it.
It
as
was
much.
shorter. I'm more excited about this movie.
But this one had a much simpler, easy to hook onto premise for me coming in from outside and on a 90s 80s action binge. So there you
Now,
go.
is this coming out on streaming? Where is this coming out?
I have no idea. January 25th, releasing somewhere, probably in
All
theaters
right,
in
way to
India.
go, Imran.
The other movie
way
is
to go, Imran. You plug two trailers that everyone should see the movies for, but you have no idea where they're
but the other
releasing.
movie is on Hulu right now.
Okay,
BRAHMASTRA is on Hulu. We'll see where this shows up.
I want to watch this one. More
I mean,
than
I think with
BRAHMASTRA.
like people, like a lot of people, I feel like Netflix got a lot of people watching RRR. Maybe Netflix picks it up and it could be the home for these kind of movies. I mean, the last shot of him, a motorcycle jump over a truck while he drops a grenade and then it just explodes behind him. Come on. The guy looks badass. Hair blowing in the wind, blood on his shaved chest. Great.
It looks just like Imran if Imran was like
not Imran.
like an action star.
The lead in this guy Shah Rukh Khan is right now. He's like the biggest Indian Bollywood star. He hasn't had a movie in 4 years. People have been waiting for him to return to the big screen, but he is huge over there. So, and the girl's really hot in this too. So, anyways, look,
I agree.
Look, just keep an eye out for some exciting Bollywood action movies. Listener, also keep an eye out for Jock and Nerd merch, which you can find at our TeePublic shop, jockandnerd.com/shop. Get a t-shirt, a hoodie, a cell phone case, a mug with the logo with Rug Boy's face on there. Lots of
You
fun
can even
things.
get a pen.
Can you get a pen? There is a pen on
No.
there. No, there's no pen.
No. I don't know.
Do you
There
want a
might
pen?
be.
If you want a
I
pen,
don't know.
let me know. I'll make it happen. Whatever you guys want, jockandnerd.com/shop. Okay, let's move on from India to Japan. We are so international this week because last week, November 3rd, was Godzilla Day. Happy Godzilla Day, everybody.
He's 68, and next year he's gonna be 69.
Oh,
dude.
what a great year.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Godzilla.
All the Godzilla porn coming out next year.
Wow,
Let's
Godzilla's
get ready, everyone.
68. He's, wow.
Penis and 69 still makes me smile all the time.
Never
saying
not
those
funny.
words out loud.
69, dude.
Get your hand off my penis.
So on Godzilla Day, there a couple things happened. A couple of things were announced. Toho announced that a year from Godzilla Day, November 3rd, 2023, they are going to be releasing a new Godzilla movie.
Oh, shit.
From
All right.
Toho, directed by Takashi Yamazaki, who has done, I don't know any of these movies, but he's previously directed Lupin 3, The First, Parasite Part 1 and 2, and Dragon Quest, Your Story. There's even a little G logo with the date on there. And I think that's all the news we have about this movie, Ruggs. Do you know anything else?
I do. Of course.
Okay, what do you know?
He did this movie called Always 2, and there was like a kind of a dream sequence with Godzilla in it. It was like one of the first Japanese done CG Godzillas.
Oh.
And so I guess that's what got this dude the job. And there could possibly be like a period piece involved here.
Oh, they do it in the past.
So I'm not sure. That's just an inkling that I have from the Always 2 dream sequence. It was done as a period piece. Have you seen that, Anthony?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I didn't even, until I looked at the news today, I didn't know that another Godzilla movie was coming out. I've been out in the dark.
Is it? It's not part of the Shin universe, right? The last one, Shin
I hope
Godzilla.
not.
no, I think it's going to be
Standalone?
here. I'm going to give you a link. Hold
Okay,
on a
let's
second.
see. This logo is kind of, is that supposed to be Godzilla?
It's a G, and then I also wondered, is that supposed to be Godzilla? But
So there's this scene in there's a Godzilla dream sequence. It's a period piece. It's the first. This was done a long time ago. So I'm going to say at least 10 years ago, maybe a little bit less than that, but somewhere around then. It's like the first CG Godzilla.
2007.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just a dream sequence, and Godzilla's in it. You can see him like bashing
Oh,
shit.
there he is. He's wrecking everything.
Yeah, and then that was like the first. You never seen this scene, Anthony?
I think I have. Yeah, a long time ago.
This isn't bad.
so-
That looks pretty good.
So yeah, we're talking about 2006, 2007, and this is the guy who's going to do it. And it looks pretty serious. It doesn't look like Godzilla's moving. His tail is moving. He has like some personality to him. So if this is the guy that's doing it, we might see something a little bit different than Shin Godzilla.
I mean, that's exciting. You know, we're still going to get the Godzilla versus Kong sequel that is being worked on.
The American,
on
yeah.
the American side
thing.
of things. But, Anthony, did this news of a new Toho Godzilla movie give you a geek boner?
I don't want to say this without sounding blasphemous, but no.
No.
Because
shit.
I just didn't really like Shin Godzilla. And I am hoping that they can meld, as Ruggs has said in the past, they can meld the man in suit with the CGI in a way that makes everything look better.
Yeah.
But I still don't trust Japan. I don't think Japan, the film industry there is still, well, I don't know. I'm basing this off of Shin Godzilla, but from what I'd seen, it's still way behind America.
I just saw Shin Ultraman.
Was
Right?
it good? How was the CGI?
But like not as good, nowhere near as good as of what we do here.
Right.
But their sensibilities are better, I guess. They
Good.
understand the medium a little bit better. But pound for pound, any scene in Godzilla versus Kong is way more fucking adrenaline packed than a lot of the stuff that we should see. But it's still like, I mean, like you have who's making the movie. So if it's Anno's involved, it's going to have that Higuchi's involved. They're going to have the same kind of idea where there's board meetings, there's people talking, and then
Enough with the meetings. We don't need the meeting scenes in a Godzilla movie.
Now, this is a discussion that Anthony just brought up: suit stuff versus practical suit stuff versus CG.
Yes.
Now, Toho, for some reason, on Godzilla, they released two Godzilla versus Gigan films. One done in suitmation, and the other one done with CG.
So I'm going to have those linked. I want the viewer to watch, the listener, definitely watch these. Here's the thing, Ruggs. The practical one, Toho, I don't think released that because if you click it now, it has been taken down.
Oh, really?
Due to a copyright
I
claim
couldn't see it
by Toho.
I tried watching it earlier because I hadn't seen it, and I couldn't because of Toho.
Oh, wow. It was up for a little bit. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about that other one then. Godzilla versus Gigan Rex is a complete CGI short film about 6 minutes. A Godzilla.
It looks like a video game cutscene.
I kind of enjoyed it though. I thought it was pretty.
But
fucking
it's
dope.
really fun to watch, and Godzilla's badass in that thing.
Yeah, it's a great design. I do want. Anthony, did you watch that one, Gigan?
I did. Yeah,
What'd you think of that one?
I thought it was good. I liked the use. They used the music really well. They
Yes.
used a lot of music from
Yes.
different
Dun, dun, dun,
Godzilla eras,
dun, dun,
including when he gets kind of reborn in the Godzilla Destroyer, which is one of the best scenes ever. When he dies.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be Junior, I think this is.
Yeah, and then Junior gets reborn. So, yeah, and I love Gigan. Gigan's one of the fucking weirdest looking monsters ever. But Gigan,
Yes.
go ahead.
No, I want you guys to give me a backstory on Gigan because I really love this Gigan Rex after watching. There's like a bunch of them. There's a red one. Let me just
that's the first time we've seen Gigan, like multiple Gigan.
Oh, really? It's usually just one.
Right.
I want to just describe this for the listener, Gigan Rex, and you guys can laugh at me, but this is what it meant. Like, this thing is a big bird type thing, a cross between like a chicken and maybe like a penguin with feathers. It has a red visor instead of eyes, but then it's got a metal beak and kick-ass giant metal curved blade claws, and then metal spikes on its head and fins, and then the other practical one, I guess there's stuff that comes out of his stomach, which is like a spinning saw, but he also shoots lasers. This is kind of a badass design. Like, I kind of love this Gigan design in this one. But what's his deal?
He was like the ultimate weapon of some like alien race.
Okay,
like,
okay. Why does he look like a
sent
turkey?
down? King Ghidorah and him like was supposed to take over the Earth, and then Godzilla and Anguirus battled them, right?
Yep. And they talk to each other. In the movie.
That's when they talk to each other. And then they kept bringing him back because he was popular. So they brought him back again with Godzilla versus Megalon, and because they needed to do a tag team. So Godzilla, if you don't know, teams up with this robot called Jet Jaguar. That's kind of like an Ultraman. And they have to fight. It's two of them versus two of them. So there was Gigan and Megalon, which is like a giant bug. They teamed up and they got their ass kicked and drop kicked by fucking Godzilla.
They do drop. So, he does a drop kick in that one.
He does a great drop kick. And there's a lot of fun shit in that movie. So then they bring back Gigan one more time.
Was it Final Wars?
Well, he's in Destroy All Monsters, I think, isn't he?
Is he? Maybe like a cut scene. I don't remember. Destroy All Monsters is a tough one to get your hands on. Or back in the day, it was a tough one.
He's definitely in another movie maybe in a cut scene or maybe Godzilla's Revenge or whatever, that one with the fat kid.
Yep.
What is that one? And then he comes back in Final Wars, but this time they make like a new version where he's blue. And he looks less like a fat guy and he looks more badass. He has like chainsaws and stuff. And that's an awesome design. That's the one thing that came out of that movie that was really badass.
That's Gigan?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like Rugg said, but I think they added history to him, or maybe this was what he was supposed to be, but he was supposed to be a reptilian monster from another planet that people took over and made into a cyborg.
Why does it look like a turkey, though?
Well, yeah, they always they just made people fat back then. Okay. I don't know why, but he was supposed to be like a bird reptile, and then they added a chainsaw to his chest and hooks, and he's supposed to, he's like half alien, half cyborg,
half metal. Yeah, I like that. Like it's organic and metal combined.
What I liked about I didn't like his character, but what was badass about his first appearance was before that, you never really saw Godzilla bleed.
Oh.
And he would fuck up Godzilla and anger. He cut him. Yeah, there was blood splatter.
Oh, shit.
One point, I don't know why they do this, but Anguirus just walks right into his razor blade chest.
Oh, Jesus.
And he gets his neck splattered all over.
Oh, my God.
It's a pretty bloody movie. Godzilla has a bloody nose in the movie.
Yeah, he's got a buzzsaw on him.
I know. He's got a buzzsaw coming out of his stomach.
Hook hands.
And, blade hands. It's amazing.
It kind of reminded me... The way they designed him in this one, it kind of reminded me of how Legion's tentacles and Gamera versus Legion would squirt out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was Gigan's a cool monster, and they made a cool design for him in Final Wars, and then Godzilla just blows his head off with one fire breath, which was kind of stupid.
Oh no, this one, these Gigans give him a run for his money, and then the destruction in this, everybody just died in the city where he's fighting. He destroyed
I love the giant explosions.
Yes,
I love how just these huge plumes of fucking fire.
He blew up the whole city. I'm like, all those people are dead now, Godzilla.
I really liked that they made Godzilla's level up a white breath. I thought that was cool.
That looks great.
And that scene where he first uses it and there's atomic explosions all around the city is amazing.
Yeah, this is, aside from some of it being a little shiny, right? It could use a little more texturing, but
they definitely could use some work on this.
But
if they took, if they took what they did in this movie, as far as Godzilla moves kind of quick, but they could slow him down a little bit, but still have that amount of agility, just not move as quickly. Mm-hmm. Have the similar design, because that design is pretty fucking badass. He looks like he could kick some ass, and just the intensity, then they could probably give America a run for their money, because this was the closest thing that I've seen that Toho has put their stamp on, that they've involved themselves with, that has actually I feel can compete with what we're doing over here.
Did they motion cap Godzilla in the Legendary movies? Would that help? Then you can kind of have a combination.
Well, I don't know if it's a motion capture. I just think that they didn't have the amount of money to spend. See, what happens is if you watch Shin Godzilla, right? As long as Godzilla's not moving too much, he looks great.
Right.
But the minute they try and make him walk and you see him actually do a walk cycle, it starts to fall apart.
It's lumbering.
So that's why he doesn't move a lot in that film. The only time he really moves a lot is when he's on the ground, like as like a little baby, and that's the most moving he gets in the whole film. Like, and it just doesn't. They hadn't quite gotten it yet, so I don't know what it is. If it's like this lower polygon count, and there's less like effects and compositing to kind of make it seem real, that they can kind of just do it and not have to worry about it looking bad. They can kind of, I don't know. It's the uncanny valley. When you get too close to reality, that all your mistakes start to stick out a lot more, right? So as long as you're keeping it in a cutscene video game thing, you can forgive a lot more, maybe. I don't know. Something like that.
This video got me instantly interested in Gigan. I was like, what the fuck is this thing? I want to know more about it because it was badass. It's very cool. Watch it, listener. Link in the show notes. You will enjoy it. All right, we can take a quick break here, play some promos, and we come back and we talk about Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee taking down the Yakuza in a ridiculously awesome movie, maybe, right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Matt.
And Jesse.
We host American Slacker Podcast, your weekly rundown for weird news, entertainment suggestions, and unique games.
Every other week, we bring on guests from all walks of life, like comedian Mark Forward of Letterkenny.
Yeah, we just call it tuna up here. We're pretty clear that it's a fish.
And NYC stand-up powerhouse Ian Fidance.
I want to fucking punch you in the fucking face with positivity and fun, motherfucker.
Actor Brandon Crane of Stephen King's It.
There's a lot of the work that I did, like Wonder Years to It, they were all very, period 50s, 60s, and, chunks were all the rage.
And Art the Clown from Terrifier, David Howard Thornton.
They also had to make a mold of my face while I was there, so that was kind of claustrophobic in itself.
Musician Dan Simons of Just Surrender.
First time ever going out on tour, you remember every step.
And Nick Thompson of Hit the Lights.
All the stuff that I think that people go through life, and it's just like my outlet for that.
Watch the video version of American Slacker on our YouTube channel and listen to our show on your favorite podcast app.
New episodes every Wednesday. Visit our website, aspodcast.com, for everything American Slacker.
That's it.
There you go.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
I see the potential for basically like another Netflix kind of paradigm shift where here comes this other major player. They have a ton of resources. Apple could change the way that entertainment is consumed.
They say it's the only time this year that you'll have stars from each brand battling each other, and we know it's not going to be the case, but they like to say that, and more power to them, I guess.
Well, it's a big first step, bringing all those superheroes together. There were definitely some parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and then there were some parts that I thought just kind of fell short of expectation.
Part of it has to be something to do with how it's being promoted, and this is a thing where audiences do not agree with critics.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse, every week on Apple Podcasts.
And over a dozen of your favorite streaming and podcasting options.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, you can give back and join our fun fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd, where you can support the show on a monthly or annual basis. And we'd like to thank everyone who has continued their support. It means so much. Special shout out, thank you to Patreon supporter Ralph Bravo, who earlier this week increased his support. He doubled his support.
Whoa. Whoa, Ralph Bravo.
Bravo, Ralph Bravo. We recently reviewed Hard Target for him as a Patreon pick, which is a fun thing you get when you support us. So thanks, Ralph. That's awesome. Everyone be like Ralph. Other Patreon benefits, you get invited to our monthly Discord hangout. This month, November, we're going to do a Wednesday one, I've decided.
Okay.
Thanksgiving Eve, November 23rd. You're not doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. It's you're home. You got to.
You mean the night that everyone goes out and gets drunk?
Yes.
Us losers are going to be home
that
on
night,
Discord.
You can stay home and get drunk. It's cheaper. And we can hang out on the Discord Wednesday, November 23rd, 8 p.m. Be there.
I'm going to be basting my turkey.
That's fine. You can baste while we talk. You can baste.
Are you going to be making turkey this year? Remember that one year when you made that god-awful turkey?
Oh, my God. It was delicious.
To the dogs?
You know what? The wife and I, just yesterday, we made a 10-pound turkey. Do you know? Have you seen the turkey prices? There's like a turkey war going on.
You made a turkey?
Yeah, it was very easy. 99 cents a pound from Aldi, but if you look at Costco and Aldi, turkey's going for like $1.05 a pound, $1.07. Super cheap turkey prices.
Yeah, that's really cheap, right?
Yeah, that's amazingly cheap. So, you get a 20-pound, 13-pound turkey, you're looking at $13 or $20.
I got a turkey take, a real quick turkey take for you. Hot take on turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, most overrated meat ever.
You know what, though? We made it yesterday. It was tender. We hit temperature. We took it out in the right time. Fucking juicy, tender, delicious. Gives you lots of meat.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying no one eats turkey. No, the only reason turkey's hyped is because it's because of Thanksgiving.
That is true. You could eat turkey.
No one goes in a deli. Yeah. Most people don't go into a deli and think, I'm getting the turkey meat.
You know what else you could get at the Costco's and the Aldi's? A whole, already cooked smoked turkey in a bag. It's already cooked. You just got to heat it up, I guess. I don't know how that works. It's weird. But less work. It's done. Just fucking pop it in. Turkey's delicious, and it's at a premium low price. Listener, run out right now.
I like a good turkey sandwich.
Anyways, you join our Patreon. You can also pick any movie for us to review, like Ralph Bravo picked Target. We loved it. It was great. Do all these things. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. And for this week's review, we are going to tackle another 90s action movie that is part of our upcoming 90s action movie tournament with John Bellotti Jr. coming up. And it's been really fun reviewing these movies, and this one is crazy. The movie this week is called Showdown in Little Tokyo. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
This movie came out 1991. Other releases that year, of course, you had Terminator 2. You had Point Break. A lot of also movies that are in our action tourney on a different level than this movie. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has 9 reviews, putting it at 33% tomato meter, 4.3 out of 10. Out of 9 reviews, 51% audience score. Like, you can't look at the Rotten Tomatoes for this movie. It doesn't count. This movie was made for a budget of $8 million.
Really?
Yeah. What, does that seem too much to you after watching this?
No, that's cheap. That's really nothing. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it made on its return in the box office. Nothing. It finishes with about $2.3 million. The reason being, it was only released in about 140 theaters and 5 countries, 140 theaters domestically. It bombed so hard, they released it direct to video the next year everywhere else. So it was barely in the theater. The movie.
Well, Warner Brothers hated it.
They were not happy with
Warner
this
Brothers?
movie.
They hated the movie.
Yes.
They completely chopped it up, and then they put it out with as small an audience as possible because they didn't think anyone wanted to see it. And it gained a cult following once Brandon Lee died.
Yes, it did huge VHS sales, which is it's kind of sad that happened, but it brought this movie back into cult status. They hated it so much. This is why this movie has this crazy runtime of 79 minutes.
Never see that.
It's an hour 18. There's no movie.
You never see that.
You never see that. What a random number, right? Well, turns out Warner Brothers went behind the director's back, cut 11 minutes out of this movie after the last test screening without even telling him, and just put out a 79-minute movie. The movie is directed by Mark L. Lester, who you may know for directing such things as Commando with the Schwarzenegger and Firestarter. Which we reviewed, which was in our 80s tournament. Fantastic movie, Firestarter, with little Drew Barrymore setting things on fire. Lots of fun. Written by Stephen Glantz and Calliope Bradley. Your lead cast is Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee. Playing the bad guy is Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa as Yoshida, and a very young Tia Carrere. It's got to be one of her early roles playing the female in the action movie. And also, you can't have an action movie in the 90s or 80s without Al Young, and he does have a quick cameo in this movie.
See him a couple times, yeah.
Yep, he's there.
Real fast.
He gets killed like 3 times.
He is there. Okay. First, before I find out if anybody has watched this movie before, Anthony, what happens in Showdown in Little Tokyo in 79 minutes?
Okay, well, you have Dolph Lundgren investigating the Japanese criminal underworld in L.A.
The Yakuza.
And he stumbles upon an incident happening in a coffee shop, and just so happens that Brandon Lee is walking by, and they actually happen to be partners. They become unexpected buddy cop partners. Dolph Lundgren is the white guy that's super immersed in Japanese culture, and Brandon Lee is the racially miscast half Japanese guy, even though he's Chinese, playing a valley guy that has no connection to his culture other than training in martial arts when he was 4 years old. And they go on a adventure together to hunt down the Yakuza in Japan. And there's a personal element to Dolph Lundgren's.
L.A., Little Tokyo.
L.A. Little Tokyo, excuse me.
As the title says.
We were talking about Godzilla earlier, and I'm
yes,
still thinking about Japan.
Sure.
But it is Japan, though. This is Little Tokyo.
Yeah.
And there is a personal element, as Dolph Lundgren happens to also come across the guy that killed his parents back in Japan in cold blood.
What a coincidence. Yes. Had you seen this movie before?
I had seen bits and pieces of it. I think I'd seen it once. There were a couple scenes that I remember seeing as a teenager or a kid. But I don't remember seeing it in full. Or if I had, I just didn't remember seeing the entire movie.
You know what? This one somehow slipped past me, and I'd never seen it, and I'm shocked that it slipped past me because it is the type of schlocky action movie I would have loved back in the day. So this was my first time watching it, and it was an amazing experience. Ruggs, what's your history with Showdown in Little Tokyo?
Cut to 1990-something. I'm in Blockbuster Video with my friends, who I would always rent action movies with, and we just saw Dolph on the cover, and we're like, we're getting this movie. Like, this looks like a badass movie. And we're just, it was like, okay, Dolph Lundgren's going to do karate. Like, does he know martial arts? But he is a martial artist. Yeah, I watched this on VHS like many times when I was a little kid. Yeah.
This is a Dolph Lundgren that is coming off of Rocky IV, Masters of the Universe. Then he was in Red Scorpion, and then he does do the Punisher movie. That goes straight to video. And then after this movie, he does Universal Soldier, which is another movie that's in our 90s action tournament. And this is actually Brandon Lee's first American movie.
Yeah, he was in a couple of Hong Kong films.
Well, he was in a German movie called Laser Mission or something.
That's terrible.
It was a German movie, but this is our first American Brandon Lee role. So I don't even know where to start, because the fact that it's only 79 minutes, they managed to shove so much shit in 79 minutes. It is alarming.
It never stops.
This movie has everything. Anthony, opening thoughts. Let's start with you. What did you think overall of this movie?
Okay. I wrote down a ton of notes, but I'll just high level. I'll start by saying this is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. But is it entertaining as all hell? Oh my God, yeah, it is.
Fuck yeah! Oh my God,
I laughed so many times during this movie for all different sorts of reasons. I don't know what the full 11 minutes that we're missing or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but I would argue 79 minutes is perfect.
It doesn't need it. Yes. And we were talking about 3-hour Avatar movies. This is a great runtime.
I'm very curious to hear what you guys think, but I'll just say this is an 80s movie made in the 90s. Yep. And it has literally everything that you would ever want in terms of that B-level movie. Action, boobies, sex, one-liners, weird homoerotic shit.
All of that. All of that is in here.
Weird, crazy kills. It has everything you would ever want. I wrote down that, I almost feel like there's two comparisons. It's kind of, in some ways, wackier than Roadhouse, which is kind of crazy to say.
Okay.
It's B-movie Tango and Cash.
I'm glad. Yes. That's what it reminded me of. This is a movie that definitely falls in the category. It's so bad, it's fucking good. It's weird like Tango and Cash, but it's so entertaining. There's so many what the fuck moments, and it's relentless. Like, there's a fight scene every fucking 5 minutes, just nonstop. So much happens in this movie. In 79 minutes, there's chase scenes. Dolph Lundgren flips a car. There's topless. There's
picks up a car.
There's female topless sumo wrestling. There's a bathhouse scene. There's a training montage. There's a sex scene. It has everything.
There's a beheading.
There's a beheading. Oh my god! And disturbing scenes. And the one-liners and the humor is so bad. Poor Brandon Lee.
Look, when I was watching this movie, I was texting you guys, and I was like, we're going to need to do 2 fucking shows on this movie because there's just so many things. First of all, the opening of this.
Let's start with the opening.
I need to say 2 different things. Number one, the opening of this movie is like just shots of like a guy's like pectoral muscles with tattoo with the Yakuza tattoo.
They're homoerotic shots.
And then like
dude.
it's like holding a sword, holding a gun, holding a dick. Like it's like holding an eggplant. Like just like it's like almost a parody. And then the music. And the music, there's this one music cue that happens all the time. It's like do 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 do. And it just, they overuse it so much.
Oh
it's
my
like,
god, that music! They use that music. They use that theme every 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's like they overuse it. It has some ridiculously bad synth music in it, and it's inappropriate. It like pulls you right out of the film. But then there's like some rockin' music that's almost like on the level of like Kumite, on that level. And it's just like all over the place. This movie doesn't know what it wants to be, but Brandon Lee's in it, and he's got some great lines that make me laugh. I think that one of them was, besides the one that we're all going to talk about, this one line where he talks about, let's fucking kick this guy's ass, and then we can go eat sushi off naked women.
There's naked chicks with some good men eating sushi off them in this movie. There's so many boobies in the movie.
Oh,
it's great, yeah.
He is so just on that Brandon Lee part. He is so goofy in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the lines they're talking about the going into to that Japanese place, and he's like, Dolph's like, be prepared, basically, like get ready. And then he's just like, I don't eat sushi, but that's just me. And it's just like the way he delivers his lines. Dolph is the lead, but Brandon. They both have like kind of terrible line delivery.
They have horrible dialogue. Yes,
horribly written dialogue.
Yes.
But Dolph is the lead, but really Brandon's the guy that shows off more.
Does he steal the movie away?
Kind of, yeah. I think Dolph is just so Dolph. What I wrote down is Dolph is just so jacked and massive that like you can't keep your eyes off of him because he's so big.
Yeah,
but Brandon is so freaking goofy and funny.
He's charming.
As his sidekick. And the little bits where they're like showing off to one another when they first meet how to take down the Yakuza.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just so fucking weird. but Brandon Lee definitely for me, I think he shows in this movie like the potential he had.
Well, it's funny because we have all 3 Brandon Lee movies in the 90s tournament. If you watch this, and then if you watch Rapid Fire, and then if you watch The Crow, you see his growth and how fast it gets. Like he gets a lot better at acting by The Crow in a very short amount of time. So yeah, his potential would have been amazing. He even does a like a Bruce Lee forward fold stretch in this, right? A little nod where he just bends over and grabs his legs.
Oh yeah, he right before they walk in
he's just like stretching, which is a very Bruce Lee thing. I was like, oh, that's a nice touch. But that opening credits totally got me because I'm watching this guy's muscles, and then all of a sudden he just has a gun. And then all of a sudden he's holding a sword. I'm like, the fuck is going on here? The beginning, when we first get introduced to Dolph, and you don't even know their character's name. Oh, his name is Kenner. You don't find out Brandon Lee's name for a long time. He interrupts a Yakuza.
Johnny Murata.
It's Johnny Murata. He interrupts a Yakuza fight club by swinging in from the fucking ceiling.
Like Batman.
Yeah. He's wearing like a leather fucking studded jacket and takes out these guys. And then there's a chase scene that goes outside, and then he just leaps over a speeding car that is coming at him. And it's the worst special effects. It's so funny.
We're going way too fast over this scene here.
Yes.
Okay. You cut to like this underground fighting ring tournament, and then Dolph Lundgren is on the roof, and he comes in like Batman, and he swings, and as he's swinging in, he like punches a guy.
Yes, knocks him right out of the ring.
Then he lets go, and then immediately everyone's like, fuck him up. And so like literally if you see any guy with like a bright tie, he's getting shot. Any guy in a bright jacket, like with neon colors, is getting shot. Anybody wearing sunglasses is getting shot.
Well, he swings down and the two fighters are ordered to fight him, and then people start taking bets on the three-way
guy.
fight.
Yes, the one guy. Yeah.
And he hits one guy so hard he goes flying out of the ring.
And then they're outside and he just jumps over this car. It's the funniest thing. And then you follow that up very, very quickly with that meet cute scene you described, Anthony, where Brandon Lee just happens to walk by the cafe where he's fucking people up. And in the beginning, he's fighting the Yakuza while drinking coffee and holding a coffee mug. He never puts the mug down, and he uses the mug. It's great. Doesn't spill a drop. And then they have to fight right away because of a misunderstanding, and then they realize, we're both on the same side.
Wait, before that, was there the scene where he backflips over a car?
Well, he doesn't backflip. He just jumps straight up.
He just leaps over a car.
Yes, and it's like
that was right before this scene.
Yes, right before it.
Yeah.
It's like the worst like compositing of doing this stuff.
I loved
ever.
it when I
It's so
saw
great.
it. When I first watched it, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Then it gets really dark as we are introduced to Yoshida, the head of the Yakuza, and what he does to people who betray him as he...
First of all, you cut to like a party in the 80s at this big like compound. And there's like naked chicks
club,
everywhere.
yes. Yeah.
And so then you go into the inner sanctum where this dude has caught this woman like talking shit to about what his operation to some other guy.
She's snitching.
So now he's starting like this crystal meth business.
Describe this scene, because I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
But before you describe, this is the scene I saw as a kid, and I was like, I love this movie.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
So he confronts the girl. Now, mind you, this whole office is full of his thugs.
Yeah, there's 7 dudes standing around in a circle.
Now, including the guy who snapped his own neck.
Oh yeah,
that they captured.
Yes, the guy kills himself.
Yes, I wrote that down.
Okay, so now we have to go back. Oh my God! So
wait, that dude who snapped his own neck showed up later at the scene.
Yeah,
he did the scene. They cut to his fucking face.
Okay,
I didn't even notice that.
Okay, what Imran forgot to mention. So Dolph Lundren crashes into the illegal fighting thing, jumps over a car. Then the next day, he's in a cafe, and the Yakuza comes in there, and he fights them, meets Brandon Lee, and then they capture a guy.
Yes, they actually.
And they're like, okay, they bring him into jail. They're talking about how they're partners in this thing, and they leave the guy alone, and he snaps his own neck.
Yes.
That guy, because he doesn't want to reveal anything, he killed himself.
Yes.
But then at this next scene at this fucking house party with the titties everywhere, he's there.
He's there. I didn't even notice that. What the fuck?
Yeah, they didn't even try and cut him out. So anyway, this dude is confronting this girl who he's caught on film, like talking shit about him and about his operation. And so he gives her a bunch of meth, and she's like, well, trying to get out of it, she knows she's in trouble. She's like, well, how about I fuck you in front of all these guys?
I could do you.
And she's like, I could do you right now. And he's like, well, how about I do you?
Yes.
He turns her around, starts taking her clothes off, starts like rubbing up against her and like looking like he's about to bang her. But then he gets his sword and he cuts off her fucking head.
And then he just chops her. And that scene, the beheading scene, looks like they just flicked the head off a Barbie doll real quick. It's the worst model, but he's grinding in front of all his dudes, and then he just fucking chops her head off. I was like, what?
Yeah,
what the
super
fuck?
cringy.
What the fuck am I watching?
There's nothing more 90s than that. 90s, 80s than a naked girl being grinded up on and then having her head chopped off while she's high on ice or whatever the hell they call it.
Ice, which is like Japanese crystal meth.
Yeah.
By the way, their big plan is to ship these drugs in beer bottles. How does this work? What happens what if you want beer? Are they I didn't understand how any of this worked. Like, people are going to order beer and they're going to get drugs. But what about the beer?
What I'll say though is the Kerry Hiroyuki, what's his name?
Kerry Tagawa, yeah.
He's in Mortal Kombat and he's in a bunch of other stuff.
Yes.
If looks could kill, he has the fucking devil's eyes, man. That guy looks intimidating as shit just by his fucking face.
But you ever notice that his scar on his face keeps moving around?
Oh, 100%.
Well, and so
that's what it's got. They don't have
the makeup person on this would need to be fired.
The makeup person was getting paid about $2.
Well, and so
it's an $8 million movie.
The reason the scar is there because they set up this conflict right away through flashback. You learn that Yoshida was the guy who killed Kenner's parents, but then he was a kid and he managed to slash him in the face somehow.
Just
some fucking kid. He killed his parents, and the kid slashes him in the face,
just like Splinter.
Just like Splinter,
and the bad guy, the bald Japanese guy, is in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, Tetsu or whatever is that his name.
He's one of Splinter. Not Splinter. Shredder's like henchman.
Yeah, he's like in the Ninja Turtles movie. He's like Shredder's main guy. He's the guy who like grunts all the time.
Yep,
and doesn't say anything. He does the same thing in this movie. He just grunts.
He plays the same exact role. He doesn't. I don't think he speaks a lick of English in either of the movies.
No,
they just have him speaking Japanese while everyone else is speaking English.
It's kind of funny though that like all of a sudden he's in a kid's movie, and then he's in this movie with all these girls getting their heads chopped off with their tits out. It's like weird.
Dude, that's where you see the topless female sumo wrestlers, which is I would pay to watch that. Why isn't that a real thing?
Topless female, and then topless females having sushi
in the raw. Yeah, we're gonna go eat fish off with some naked
This
broads.
is one of the first scenes though where you have them teaming up, right? They take out a bunch of bad guys, and this is the first of 2 opportunities at least where the bad guy has the 2 cops in a situation where he can just kill them, and he goes, I'll let you go.
It's not 2. It's 4 times. This is what I didn't get because it is
terrible.
Established in the beginning that Dolph Lundgren is looking for this guy. He wants to kill him, and Yoshida wants to kill Dolph Lundgren. And they meet like 4 times. They have 4 opportunities to kill each other, and nobody does a fucking thing. They do some fucking stupid shit.
Let's talk about the times that they face off.
Yes.
So there's Dolph puts a gun to his face at when they raid the club.
Yes, he has a gun.
So when they raid the bonsai club, and there's like this big like karate, scene, and Dolph finally gets his way down to the inner sanctum and holds a gun up to his face. For some reason, the gun is shaking like a leaf, like he can't pull the trigger, and so then all of a sudden they get out of that for some reason.
I'll kill you later.
No, Brandon Lee is like, no, we got to do this the right way.
Yeah,
which somewhat makes sense.
Yes, but it doesn't towards the end.
But the Yakuza let him go because Brandon's like, or they're like, a bunch of people saw us walk in here as cops. That'd be bad. But I'm just like, but these guys are criminals. They don't give a fuck.
Yes, so that's
makes no sense.
That's the first opportunity. The second opportunity comes when Yoshida kidnaps Tia Carrere, right? And I think he rapes her, and he shows her the beheading video.
Rapes her, yeah.
And Dolph goes and rescues her, and Yoshida is mad, and he goes, "I want the blonde guy's head." So he's looking for him, and what does Kenner do next? He just goes to see Yoshida at the bathhouse. He goes right up to him. There's a whole bathhouse fucking fight scene where he tries to arrest him.
And the guy who snapped his own neck is there, and he has a mustache on, so no one can't tell that it's him.
I wrote down at this point, what did I write down? 1 second here. I went bathhouse fight scene with men in thongs.
Yes,
I wrote down as my note.
Very spicy, and there's
I really wanted to see Ali Young in that fight scene.
I just love when Dolph confronts him, the main bad guy, Carrie. They're all like looking at him, and all of a sudden, all the guys with the painted on tattoos start coming out of the water.
Yes,
and you just start seeing all this ass coming out of the water.
Hey, listen. We got to see boobs.
We got to see
now
boobs.
Everybody gets to see
we
ass.
saw Dolph. There's a clear shot of Dolph's ass in this.
That's later. That's later. That's later.
Some for the ladies.
So
I mean, when he's fighting the sumo wrestler underneath the water.
Oh my god, that is such a long scene of them fighting underwater and the sounds, and he stabs him, and he's not dead.
When he stabs him the first time, they play like some weird music.
Yeah,
where it's like, or not music. They play some weird ADR where he's screaming, but it's like the ADR was like. As he's like screaming because he got like he got stabbed in the stomach. It's you have to, if you rewatch that scene, you're like, there's no way he's screaming. It's terrible ADR.
Also, just before that, when he goes to rescue Tia Carrere, he does that great move where he just Dolph throws himself to the ground and spins and shoots out the window, and it's
Super
so
90s.
inaccurate. I'm like,
well, you skipped over a part where Tia Carrere is about to commit seppuku.
She's about to kill herself. Yes,
and Brandon Lee knows so little about his culture that he doesn't even know what seppuku
he's like,
is.
he looks like she's
He has
arranging
no
things.
idea.
What is she doing?
Well, wait, but on top of that scene, she is about to kill herself. She has no reaction to the amount of fucking bullets that are being flying in that fucking place. She it's as if she's in like a fucking soundproof room. Also, I think in that scene, Dolph punches through a door and grabs a guy by the nuts.
Oh, I think that's later during the last fight.
Oh, wait, you got to watch this part. Like, you know when Dolph is sneaking around and he grabs a guy by the throat and he kills him?
Does punch a guy through the door and grabs his nuts in this. Yes.
But you got to watch the scene where he chokes a guy out.
Yeah.
And as he's laying the guy down, the guy's arm comes up so he can lay himself down. So he springs back to life so he doesn't get lowered the wrong way.
Hold on, there's another big fuck up later, which I will get to also.
No, well, this is an actual, just a weird plot fuck up. This girl's about to fucking kill herself, right? Dolph saves her, puts her in a room, gives her a shotgun. This girl was suicidal, and you just were like, well, you're not suicidal anymore. Here's a shotgun.
Shoot anything in the movie. Wait, but there's more. That whole rescue scene is ridiculous because, first of all, Dolph Lundgren is carrying an adult woman and jumping from rooftop to rooftop and shooting at bad guys accurately with Tia Carrere in his arms. And then this is where the movie decides he has superpowers, and he flips a fucking car on its side and then shoots at it driving away. And of course, we all know what happens when you shoot at a car. It's going to explode.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny about Dolph is, again, very physically impressive man, but it really stands out compared to Brandon. Like, Brandon Lee is very quick.
Yeah.
You could see it.
Yeah.
Dolph, it's like he's moving in molasses.
Yeah.
The way he moves around.
Yeah.
He's so slow.
Yes.
It's like, how is he dodging bullets right now?
Yes, he's very lumbering.
He's just a big guy. He's like 6'4", 250 pounds. There's no way that guy's moving fast. So every time he does something, it's like when he pulls out the guns and starts shooting people, I feel like he's shooting the people at half speed. He's like,
the bullets are coming out slow.
He's not even trying to aim also. Then he's just hitting everyone. Okay, wait, there's so much more because after he rescues her, he takes her to the safe house. This Japanese-inspired safe house.
He built it.
He built it. So here we learn he loves to appropriate Japanese culture. And he just lives in this thing. And this is where they have the sexy time, full sex scene. I don't know if that's Tia Carrere's boobies. It could be.
It's not.
That's a stunt double. Okay.
You don't know if it is. It's one of the worst body doubles you'll ever see.
You don't see her face.
One of the worst wigs I've ever seen.
Yes, it's like covering the side of her face.
That girl is in the movie earlier. You see her naked body.
Oh, and they use
in the pool.
same body. And I also thought, while they were having sex, he has no expression on his face. It's
none.
the same expression. But here's a great line, because before, when he gives her the shotgun, and he's like, shoot anything that comes in, and she's like, what if it's you? He goes, you're never going to see me coming. So they have sex.
Never going to hear me.
You're never going to hear me coming. They have sex. He has no expression. And she turns to him and goes, that time I heard you coming. Yay.
Lame.
What a line. What a line.
Yeah, I doubled over when I heard that line. I was like, oh my God.
I can't believe that she actually said it.
Yeah, I can't
she was
believe
all right, it's time for me to say this
And that's
line.
An
not
actress
even
of
the
that
worst line.
caliber,
Yes.
an actress of that caliber saying that line and being like, yeah, that's the line. I'm
This
going
is
to go with that
porn
one.
movie
The
dialogue.
best thing is that, so that line wasn't terrible enough. Right? Not even 2 minutes later,
Yes.
we get the line of the whole movie.
Which is, hold on, because this also ties into the third time Kenner and Yoshida cross paths, because this safe house that allegedly nobody knows where it is, the bad guys find it right away. It's barely an inconvenience at all. And they
just
show up. You see Dolph's ass. You see him dress up in Bushido samurai clones.
No, that doesn't happen right there.
Oh, that's later?
No, that's later. Come on,
That's
Imran.
later. Come on, Imran.
But then we have possibly the best line of the movie delivered by Brandon Lee as they are preparing to fight back. What's the line? Who wants to say it?
It's like he says something along the lines of, I just got to say, but before we jump into battle or something like that, that you got the biggest dick or penis I've ever seen on a male.
He says dick. You've got the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
On a man, yeah. He's the end part too is like on a man.
On a man.
That's so loaded. It was supposed to be on a white man.
Yes, originally the line was on a white man, and they cut that out.
So this makes you think that, number one, Brandon Lee's character could be gay.
No, well, see,
there's some of that there. Yeah,
because I was like, did he mean this literally or metaphorically? I'm not sure. It's vague.
Or he's seen a lot of dicks.
He's seen a lot of dicks, and his was the biggest one.
Either way, it's a line that makes you go, maybe he's at least playing both sides.
Either that, or he used to like work at a urologist office or something.
He used to be.
Well, he gets like kind of pissy too when Dolph's like, oh, she slept in my bed. He's like, yeah, I figured. I knew that was going to happen. He's like all like, fuck, man, I wanted to fuck him.
So did he actually see his dick? I still don't know if it was literal or metaphorical.
How did he see his dick?
When did he see his dick? When did this happen? So
when did the dick scene? When did he see his dick? I mean, they must have cut that scene out.
So the Yakuza find them and capture John and Kenner, and now Yoshida has him. Does he kill him then? No. He decides to put him on electrocution boards in a move straight out of the Batman 60s fucking TV show. They're lying on these electrocution boards, and then Brandon Lee
Wait. Yes. But they do the whole homoerotic thing where they have to have their shirts off.
Oh, they both have their shirts off, and they're tied. That's right. You get to see them all.
They're both flexing their six packs as they're getting electrocuted,
and they're trying to be brave. And in between screaming while being electrocuted, Brandon Lee goes, "In between cooking cycles, you're supposed to baste us." Dolph's like, "Yeah, you idiot." I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? Why is he electrocuting them? Why didn't he just kill them?"
Who played the I'm getting stuff put in me that's really excruciatingly painful more? Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, or Wesley Snipes last week getting injected with garlic or whatever the hell?
That is a good three-way race there.
I think Wesley Snipes sold it better than
Wesley sold it the
any
best.
day of the week.
Dolph's was fucking laughable and hilarious. And
Dolph is making the same pain faces he made in the Rocky IV training montage.
He has like one expression. And so then also they decide to electrocute him, and then the Yakuza just fucks off and leaves. Everybody just leaves. Like, it's going to be fine, and they escape.
No, like, I think that like Dolph Lundgren grabs the guy and electrocutes
and he fries him. Yes, while Yoshida's watching.
Yeah, they use him as a conduit to have the electric current run through all three of their bodies at the same time. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what to make of that. Actually,
and then they conveniently escape.
Yes,
right.
We're not done. There's so much more.
But it's a trap because they set up a car for them to get into.
They leave his car, and Dolph's like, "Oh, that's my car," and then they leave that trap. That's the trap.
Oh, and they get in the car, and then the car gets picked up by a tractor, put into a car compactor, and of course, last minute they
no.
Yeah.
What's weird about that car compactor scene is earlier in the movie, the guy that was running the Fight Club gets crushed in the car compactor.
Yes.
But in this one, they throw them in the car compactor, push it down just enough to take it out, and then put them on a conveyor belt to get like slaughtered. It's like, you already had them dead in the car compactor.
Yeah, why didn't you just crush them all the way? It just flattens the roof down, and then it's on a conveyor belt to this really bad-looking spinning blade saws, where the car completely goes past the blades. You see it fall over, and then they cut to a shot of just like shards of metal coming out. But you saw the car go by these fucking horrible set saw blades, and of course they get out at the last minute. The whole thing is ridiculous. And then they're like, we're not going to let them know we're alive. We're going to act like we're dead. And they have time to do a whole training montage scene with Dolph bathed in a red light in front of a brick wall. It looks like it's a studio in Sears or something. It is the funniest training montage.
That's when he decides to put on the Halloween costume.
That's when he puts on the Bushido and the Japanese flag bandana.
Well, what's funny is it's like, you could have looked at when the shredder, where it was coming from. If you would have just seen like blood coming out of there, you'd know they were dead. But all that came out was machine parts, and they just assume, well, they're dead.
Must be dead.
And then Dolph, says the line where, let's stay dead for a bit. And the next time they confront the Yakuza was like, 2 minutes later, maybe?
Yes, it's like the next scene. They're like, we're going to hijack this beer truck and fucking get in. Like, you didn't wait any time at all. And they rush
That
in.
must have been the part that got cut out. I don't know.
Maybe
there had to be a little bit. There had to be a little character
I
development.
think what got cut out was more stuff, just like conversations between Dolph and Brandon Lee. And then Brandon Lee has another great / horrible line when they bust in and start shooting. He goes, "Knock, knock, we're here," and then just starts shooting people.
No, but you have the best line he has, and that is like, you have the right to remain. Oh shit! You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to remain, and you have the right to die.
So then this guy who's supposedly the by the book cop, just fucking fries a guy and kills a guy, and he gets into it and he enjoys it now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this is
like
the
a grenade or a lighter into a vat of chemicals.
Oh, that's right. Because they're in the brewery. He falls into
Right.
the beer vat, and then he drops the lighter. And
Wait,
everything
was the
blows up.
line that you have the right to be dead?
You have the right to be
dead.
Oh my god, it's even
He's
worse.
like, I'm enjoying this killing. And this leads to the fourth time Kenner and Yoshida face each other, a final showdown in the brewery, and spills out into the streets. Now, if you notice the shot where Dolph Lundgren is creeping around the brewery, trying to avoid getting shot, there's a part where he hides behind a wall and Yakuza shoots at him and steam comes out, right? And he's kind of hiding behind the steam pipe and he comes out and he shoots them. Well, I paused it. If you go back and you look, as he's crossing from behind the beer vat to the spot he's going to hide at, you see a crew member sitting there with a fucking fire extinguisher. I swear to God, he's clear as day. He's got glasses. He is the fire extinguisher steam guy that just they left in the shot.
I love it. I
Wait,
love
did
it.
That final battle between, there's so much to talk about.
Yes.
They're on the streets
Yes.
of a Japanese parade, although there was a lot of Chinese imagery in there, which was kind of strange.
Yeah.
Anyways, the bad guy shoots Dolph, right? He shoots him.
Oh, he gets shot in the
and he goes,
chest.
he gets shot like right where his heart is.
Yeah,
It went right through.
He goes, it went right through, right? First off, you look at, it's like a flesh wound on where his heart should be.
Yes.
They immediately take a shot of his back, like a wide shot. There's no blood.
There's
on his
no
back.
opening.
It didn't go right through.
The bullet's
It's literally
still in you.
it's the way where it's supposed to be. It has to be lodged in his heart or his lung.
Yeah,
He'd be dead.
Yeah, no, and he still manages to sword fight with Yoshida. By the way, they grab swords off the guys in the parade on horseback who just carry real swords, I guess. I didn't understand that.
Of course,
the people impersonating shoguns on horseback.
Yeah, they have real dead. And then the final fight is it's a great sword fight. Dolph stabs Yoshida right in the middle, and then like pushes him and throws him 10 feet behind him, pinning him to this spinning board. And then the board spins and fireworks go off, and then the whole thing just catches fire for some reason.
And he just spins on it and
He's
just
just
catches
spinning
fire.
and catches on fire.
That's the other scene I remember as a kid, and it's him spinning and yelling, being impaled by a sword on like a, I don't even know what you would call
It's
that.
a Mortal
like
Kombat fatality. at
yeah,
this
that, I mean
point.
that I was just dying laughing.
What
I was like, oh my
that
god.
spinning wall thing there for? I don't know. It was hilarious. I don't know how he got him on there.
It's like the Wheel of Fortune wheel that he gets stuck on.
Upright.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. I did enjoy Yoshida as a bad guy. He was sufficiently evil, right? Like, this is an evil guy.
Oh yeah. I mean, the guy cuts off his finger to sacrifice. He still
He's
stabs
like,
him.
that's not enough.
He cuts off his intro is him cutting off a woman's head naked, like
while he's
they definitely
grinding on her.
They do a decent job of making him someone you want to see die. He's also in a thong. I mean, come on.
What about the guy who calls him like some racial slur?
Oh,
and he
yes.
chops his arm off
Yes,
in front of
but
the other
he's-
guys.
He's meeting all the gangs of LA, which involve clearly like Crips and Cholos and Vatos.
It's the
and
most
bikers.
stereotypical
Yes.
look of any race there ever is.
The dude calls him a slopehead, and Yoshida chops his arm off, and it's the worst looking arm chop off you're ever going to
Right,
see.
but then like all of these guys that are supposedly like hard asses that fucking are in gangs, they're like, they see a guy brandish a sword and they're like, oh, I'm gonna listen. Like they all should just pick. They have like Mac 10s. They could just take them out and like.
I thought the same thing. I was like, don't they have guns?
They could just shoot him.
Yeah.
Yes, you already mentioned Brandon Lee is half Chinese, not half Japanese, so that's...
Well, he's not only half Japanese, right? Or he's half Chinese, but in the movie he's half Japanese. But he goes, my dad's a dentist, right?
Yeah.
He does say that.
Yeah.
He says, my dad's a dentist.
Yeah.
So unless his parents are divorced, that makes no sense because his last name is Murata in the movie, which is a Japanese last name.
Oh.
Well, his dad could be a Japanese dentist.
No, he says his dad's white.
Oh, his dad is white.
He goes, I'm white. My dad's a dentist. He goes, he says something along the lines of, my dad's white and he's a dentist. I'm like, but your last name's Murata.
So that would be your dad. What?
So, yeah, your dad wouldn't be the white guy then. Your dad has to be the Japanese father, unless they're divorced.
Yeah, none of these things
I know
sense.
I know they didn't think of that. I know
no, they did not. They didn't give a shit.
They gave no shits. They were like, let's put a Japanese name on him.
The title is actually, turns out it was a deliberate nod to Big Trouble in Little China. They were going to call the film Sergeant K or Yakuza. But that's why I always get it confused with Big Trouble in Little China, Showdown in Little Tokyo. Very similar.
After watching this movie, I went, this movie, I don't think of it as a buddy cop movie that I think of as all the other greats, but I'm going to start including it in my all-time buddy cop movies. Because that's what sells it, is them two's relationship and the boobs.
Yes.
Well, I just think that it's so fucking batshit crazy and just so loaded with fucking crazy shit. Like Imran said in the beginning, like, you got, 79 minutes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they fucking pack every fucking
I did not expect this much in 79 minutes.
There's tits, there's Dolph's ass, there's fucking penis lines about penises.
Explosions, fight scenes, chase scenes. Holy shit. It's just nonstop.
There's people getting crushed in cars.
A fight with Japanese men in their thongs in a bathhouse.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of memorable shit.
There kind of is, and it's like might be an underrated cult classic now that I've watched this. All right, let's just rate this movie.
Wait.
Yeah.
A couple other things.
Yeah. What else you got?
I wrote down 35 minutes in. I wrote down after he rapes Tia Carrera's character. I said out loud, "This is not a good movie."
It's not.
And then I was like, but I still kind of like it, which is kind of sick. This is the type of movie you have to grade on a curve. Like, it's literally. At one point, I'm like, this is a cartoon. This is Bugs Bunny. Like, the way they're all acting, the line delivery, the way they're acting, the way the scenes are cut. It's literally a cartoon of people getting destroyed.
Just the fact that the WB is like, their name is on this is fucking hilarious.
Oh my God.
I can't believe that.
I love that movie where Brandon Lee grabs the guy in a headlock, right? And then like kicks him with his feet from behind repeatedly in the face. That's a great move. You see a lot of great moves from the Brandon Lee.
But like, for $8 million to be this entertaining and memorable, like, they did something right. I don't know what it was.
There's one point where I wrote down the bad guys yell, like, name your price to get out of something with Dolph and Brandon Lee. And Brandon Lee goes, well, I've always wanted a Porsche.
So bad. It's so bad. It's good. That's the thing. You're right. It's not a good movie, but it is definitely so bad. It's good. Final closing thoughts and give it a ranking. And I think we got to give it, I'm ready to give it two different scores on two different levels, like you just kind of mentioned to Anthony. You go first.
So yeah, final thoughts. This is a batshit movie. I mean, again, I think Roadhouse is a much better movie than this, which is saying something.
Yeah.
But there are times when this is just insane. Just an insane movie with terrible acting and weird plot things and things you can point out and just go, that makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. But it's so fun.
Yeah.
So if I'm grading it as a real movie, it's like a 2 out of 10. It barely is a movie.
Yeah.
But if I'm grading it on the curve that I have to give it, I would say it's a good 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it because it's just, there's so many problems with the damn movie, but it is entertaining. I think Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren have like some sort of weird chemistry. Like, it's not good acting chemistry, but it's chemistry nonetheless.
Yeah.
And there is some good action scenes. Dolph is massive. I mean, he's just, I look at his body, I'm like, oh my God, that guy's amazingly fucking big. And so there's that physical charisma, and then Brandon Lee just having the time of his life being a goofball. It all coalesces into a movie, and there's hot chicks. It all coalesces into a movie that I would potentially like.
No, I will agree. I will say I can't believe this slipped by me, like I said, but if you are a connoisseur of action movies, this has everything that's in the DNA, everything that it hits all the boxes. It is ridiculous, and it's not a good movie, but it is fun as hell. I would. This is a movie where I have to tell people at work, I'm like, have you seen this? You have to watch this movie. It's horrible. It's so great. But I'm with you. The movie's like a 4, but on an entertainment level, it's like a 6.5. For me, it's a fucking fun movie.
We have to give it 2 scores.
We have to give it 2 scores.
We're like the Rotten Tomatoes. Are we giving the critic score and the audience score?
There's no other way to do this. Ruggs, what about you?
Oh, I'm not going to do the whole thing with the. I'm just going to give you the score.
Okay, let's hear the
score. It's a 6.5.
Oh, he's giving it a straight 6.5.
It's a 6.5, regardless, because the whole point of a movie, you know what you're getting, right? So this is an aborted movie, right? This is a movie that they tried to kill.
Yeah.
Yep.
They tried to kill this movie, and it didn't die, and it came out, and it is the Roadhouse of the 90s.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Like, Roadhouse was like the fucking movie that just wouldn't die, that just fucking, like, did everything that you wanted in a fucking action movie. And this one almost does the same thing in a lot of ways. And, like, were you really wanting more? Like, what else more did you want from this film?
That
was perfectly perfect. It was perfect time.
It was 79 minutes.
Great run time.
And you left going, that movie was so fucking weird and funny. I laughed so hard, like so many times. I was like, oh my God, this movie. And it's just memorable. So is it a good movie? No. But it's a fucking great night.
Yeah, there you go.
Great way to spend 79 minutes.
And it's full of stuff that you don't see anymore, that you couldn't do today, largely.
Oh,
a lot of the
again.
things.
And you get to see Brandon Lee like a rising star in his early
Why
career.
are movies so long now? There's nothing wrong with a 79-minute, 90-minute movie. These fucking things don't have to be 2+ hours. It's too long. It's a relief when I see a short movie like this. But wow, what an experience. Showdown in Little Tokyo. We'll see how far it goes in the tournament. It may go farther than I think after this review.
I don't know. It could. Just for fun factor and
could be the
memorability,
Roadhouse, fucking journey that Roadhouse took.
Dark Horse?
Yeah, the Dark Horse.
Yeah. What do you feel about that, Anthony? Do you think it's got Dark Horse potential, or?
I gotta abstain any comments because I know I know exactly who it's facing in the first round, so I'm just gonna abstain.
Oh man, you're gonna have Brandon Lee movies go up against each other. Maybe, I don't know. I'm guessing that would be tough.
Oh, that's a dirty trick.
That would be dirty. It would be hard. Okay, let's do some quick news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
Nope. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
All I got is one quick thing. Gregory Witzarek posted the article announcing that HBO has canceled Westworld after 4 seasons, Ruggs. It's done. Mm-hmm. Bruce O. Hughes commented, the story was over in season 2. They just keep on going, aimless, plotless, and to lower and lower ratings. You creators knew it. They have new shows coming out. Joshua Michael says, love the first season. We were pumped for season 2. Didn't even finish the first episode. I did not watch the 4th season. I've watched the first 3 seasons of the show, and it's a show that just gets me angry because I don't know what's going on ever, like I kind of do. And
I do, but it was just unnecessary.
And I heard season 4 was better, but now I don't even know if I'm going to go watch it. It's done. I don't know how much longer this could have went on. Are you? What do you think? This is probably a good time for it to end?
Watched a few episodes of the new 4th season.
Okay, and how was it?
I have not finished it yet. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It's a high quality show. It's just they didn't have 4 seasons of a story to tell. They should have just kept it to 1 or 2, and that's it.
Yeah, I wonder if it ends like if they didn't know it was going to be canceled when they finished making the show. So I wonder if it ends all with a big open ending.
It's weird. Okay, so to kind of encapsulate what the show is, like the first season of the show, you watch them in Westworld, which is like an amusement park where people go to kind of abuse robots, I guess.
Yes.
Like they get to live out their fantasies. They could fuck robots. And all these robots look like hot people and all that stuff. But you find out that they're sentient, actually, and they revolt and they start killing people. And there's a whole thing where they're trying to escape from Westworld. And then you find out it's not just Westworld. There's like a samurai world. There's all different worlds that they've created. And then for some reason, either you leave, and the third season you leave Westworld, and they sneak out into the real world, and they're living amongst people, and they're trying to like end Westworld from like The Office, like I guess.
Corporate, that's right, the corporate side of things,
because they can't do it from the park, so they got to go and infiltrate the actual people who own the park and all that stuff.
Was that the season with the dude from Breaking Bad, Jesse?
Yeah,
that was the third season. Okay, I don't even remember.
The whole crux of that story is that they're working, so they're always working on something, right? And so the big thing that they're working on is they developed this AI that could basically program people. Like Westworld was actually, you know how like you have like an app and they're just taking your data and selling it to somebody?
Yeah, TikTok.
So basically, Westworld is like another one of those apps. It's like people go there and then they get all this information about people and they use it to control people.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, now
so this big corporation created this giant brain that was like, that they were using to like actually control humans. Forgot
about all of this. That's right.
And so the robots and the humans have to team up to fucking destroy this shit. And then that's I think we're at the fourth season for that.
Okay, so I don't know if I'll check it out.
I thought it was interesting, but, you know, it just seemed like it was getting dragged out. They should have just made it like 2 seasons and that's it.
Zaslav is fucking killing shows, and this is another casualty, and I haven't had a chance to play this clip again.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
I don't know if it applies. I just wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Westworld's done. A lot of things being canceled. Let's finish up with what are we watching? Have you guys caught up to the Andor? Anybody?
Yes, I have.
I have not. I haven't watched it in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, well, the third 3-episode arc has ended, so there's 3 episodes left. Ruggs, without spoiling anything for Anthony, what do you think of the show now after 9 episodes?
The weird thing is I watched them, but I don't remember them. I know that we spend a lot of time with Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time with the ISB lady.
Yes, the blonde lady. And
yes,
Cyril,
and so
the cop who got
so they're all investigating, you know, they're trying to get, and then there's also Andor wherever he is. I don't want to give away where he is.
Andor's journey, and it involves Andy Serkis joining the cast.
Right.
Which is interesting. He's great.
So all that stuff has been interesting. I was just like, please let it not be this now. I don't want to, but they quickly got it over with. So I was happy. You know, it's cool. It's watchable. It's done well. So I have really nothing negative to say about it.
I can't wait to review it when the finale comes out.
I do think that if you're here to watch, if you're here expecting Star Wars hijinks, you're not getting it.
I mean, it's almost like an HBO show at times, right? It has that feel. It's not very Star Wars, but it is good characters, good fucking drama.
It's almost like a Black Mirror.
A little bit.
Like that.
It reminded me of that.
It's like, you know, we started it with a heist, and then we ended up in a different spot, and then I don't know where we're going to go in phase 3. Where's it going to go from here? So it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out.
I'm still digging it. In the meantime, I had a chance to watch a lot of 90s action movies this week.
Uh-oh.
And they all starting to blur together a little bit. Here's what I watched. I will break down my thoughts real quick. I watched Time Cop, Cliffhanger, and Rapid Fire.
Whoa.
After watching Showdown in Little Tokyo. So
you went crazy.
Oh, I went crazy. I did a little Jean-Claude, did a little Sylvester Stallone.
Let's hear your quick thoughts on everything.
Time Cop was okay. I love time travel movies. It's probably my least favorite time travel movie. It's probably the least smartest. It just wasn't like the clever time travel stuff, but
I liked it.
Look, Jean-Claude does the splits twice, and it's fantastic both times.
One time on like a laundry machine or something.
Yes, to avoid getting electrocuted. That was fantastic. And one time he drops down, punches a guy in the nuts. I think he does something like that, or he dodges a thing. Here's my only question. It was good. It was good. It had good explosions. Here's the thing I didn't understand. The mechanism of time travel. To travel through time, they sit in these little cars that are on a railing, and then they speed down this track, and they're not going very fast, even though I know they're supposed to be. They don't look like they disappear into this like bubble in the air. On the other end, they just fall out of the air. Okay? And then when you see them return, they come back and they return in this car. Well, how does this work? Where the fuck did the car go? How did they get the car on the other side? I didn't see the car come out on the other side. None of this makes sense.
I found that very annoying as well.
Right. I was like, how does this? So it's like they use time travel as a gimmick. It's not thoughtful time travel, but the action is great. I like Jean-Claude playing kind of these two roles, like a younger self and an older self. That was fun. Cliffhanger, which is on Hulu.
Oh, I gotta watch that stuff.
Fantastic opening. Fantastic tense opening.
Yeah, great job in that.
And you know what? John Lithgow does play a good bad guy. You see Sly channel a little bit of John Rambo from the first Rambo movie, where it's that thing where he's in the wilderness, he's being hunted, he's got to survive on his own skills. But I rather enjoyed the cliffhanger. Looking back, like you have some fantastic mountain shots, like on location, and then just like really shitty sets, like mixed in. It's great to see it go back and forth. But before you had Tom Cruise hanging off the side of a mountain in Mission Impossible, you had fucking Sly Stallone hanging off the side of a mountain.
Yeah, it's true.
Very similar. And then Rapid Fire, like I said, you see Brandon Lee get better and better. Rapid Fire, also great. I love the Chicago element that, they're keeping him in Chicago. And where the cops, where Powers Booth and that girl, the cops have set up their station at the Fireside Bowl for some reason. That didn't make sense. That's a real place. I've been there. It's a bowling alley, and they have concerts in there. But I don't why are you in this bowling alley? I don't get it. But you see his style of mixing, like you said before, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, using the environment, using the refrigerator door. I will always love that slide under the table, kick the table in the guy's face. Fucking move is fantastic.
Great.
But
kicks the guy through the stairs.
But, yeah, but it's this art student who just knows how to fire a gun and fucking fuck people up for some reason. Sure.
Yeah, random art student that just gets roped in and happens to just be able to kick everyone's ass and then has a clear way of getting out of this. Like the crime scene, the investigation is over. They don't need him anymore, and he volunteers to come back in.
He's like, I'll testify.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, they show something in art school that always happens. By always, I mean never, and that is that your life figure model is super hot, and then she comes up to you and asks you out on a date afterwards.
No, that asks you out on a date, but happens to be actually working for a group of Tiananmen Square rebels that happen to rent out probably $1 million art studio that happens to have a drug deal going on in it.
Yeah, there was a lot of mixed things going on there. But that dude, Brandon Lee's fighting in that is great, and it gets better. And then you think about the Crow, how much better he gets.
There's a lot of Asian bad guys in these movies.
There's another set of Asian bad guys in here. But then all these movies kind of started blurring together, and I was like, wait, what happened in this one? I can't remember. They kind of blur together. And then I also watched, and if that wasn't enough, I watched that Enola Holmes 2 that came out on Netflix with Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill.
How's that?
You know what? These are fun movies. I kind of enjoyed Enola Holmes 2. It's a good adventure. It's 2 hours, but they start building the early mythology for Sherlock in this. There's a fun Easter egg that sets up his partner. She's breaking the fourth wall a lot, but it's really well made. Henry Cavill's great. Millie Bobby Brown is fantastic. I just I love the Millie Bobby Brown. I'll watch anything she's in. She's usually good. A fun, good time. A lot of good action in Enola Holmes. So it was all right. It was good. I like those movies. What else? What'd you guys watch?
I might check it. Did I watch anything? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't think I watched anything.
All right, well, get ready for next week, listener. We will be reviewing Black Panther. It is Black Panther week. It comes out November 11th, and it is tracking to open. It's been a sluggish box office, and Marvel is going to inject the hot cash injection into the box office because this movie is tracking to open $175 million and upward.
Oh, shit.
It could possibly break 200 million. I think it's going to have a really strong opening and do well. And then
I'll be there opening night.
I will be there the Thursday night in a packed theater.
It opens on Wednesday?
No, it opens on Friday, the 11th.
Oh,
I'm going to see it Thursday.
No, it
really
on
comes
Thursday.
out Thursday. Right.
Yeah.
Thursday during the day.
Yep.
And if you're not going to go see that, speaking of Stallone, his new show, Tulsa King, where he plays a mob boss who has been relocated to Tulsa, Oklahoma, premieres on Paramount Plus on Sunday, November 13th. I'm kind of curious, and I might check out like the first episode of that.
It's like Lilyhammer, except in Texas.
Yes, except in Tulsa, and not with Steven Van Sant, but
is Tulsa in Texas? Or
Tulsa,
Oklahoma?
Oklahoma. Yes. But I could see Sly at his age being like a mob boss, like, and if it's like straight acting, like I think he might be good in this. So I'm gonna check that out. That's all stuff to watch. Keep yourself.
Oh, nice. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, that's it for this week. Everybody, Rugs, where can the listener find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy.
Visit the website, visit the show description for this episode. You'll find links to all the Indian Bollywood trailers and the Godzilla short. Definitely check it out. Everything we talked about is in there. And the most important thing you can do is share the show. Listener, we would appreciate it. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll be next time. Yay, my teeth stayed in my mouth.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
Jock and Nerd.